Hey, gun people. Well, look, this case was from 2018. So everybody's like, Rick, this is an isolated incident. Where cops hide, government hides things that make them look bad. So it's taken almost 3 years for this video to get released before finally people get to see it. How many videos do you think never get released? How many videos do you think government hides completely that nobody ever sees? And then people want to go, this is an isolated incident. Cops are all good. They're all heroes, and they don't do this. I mean, look, this is pretty excessive. I already said, shit, I said this 2 years ago. Cops ought to lose their dogs just like they lost the sap. Cops used to be able to carry a little sap in their pocket with a little metal weight. It was a great deterrent. When somebody fought with you, you'd knock them in the head once. It usually stopped it. But cops became abusive, and they started hitting everybody for anything and any reason. And the court says, you know what? Cops can no longer carry that. You guys don't know how to use it. And that's exactly where dogs are. The only reason they have dogs is so they can run out there and try to get a bite and let their dog chew. Now, I did laugh during this video because this dog is having a freaking blast with this dude. This is like training day for the dog. And he's like, cool, I get to play, and this guy must have a bite suit on, and I'll just run and bite him everywhere I can. So this little dog is a freaking champ. However, citizens shouldn't be play toys for little dogs. But, I mean, look. Let's look at this incident. So, first of all, before we, well, we'll look a little bit. Now remember, he's giving this guy instructions, and this dog is putting 300 pounds per square inch, bones, tearing flesh, puncturing wounds in his leg, and this cop is like, I got my taser, I just tased you, and I'm gonna let my dog chew on you, and if you don't follow my instructions, I mean, it's like shooting somebody with a machine gun, telling them, stop moving. Brr, brr, stop moving. Brr, brr, stop moving. Brr, quit moving your arm. Brr. I mean, it just doesn't pass any reasonable standard at all that you would tell a guy to stop moving when a dog is chewing on him and you're tasing him. And people are going to be defending the cop. Well, Rick, the guy shouldn't have ran. Well, Rick, the guy should have stopped moving. Well, if the guy didn't run, it wouldn't have happened, Rick. It's the guy. Look, people, you can't just... I mean, I think you idiots would be like, hey, man, if a cop asks you for ID and you don't give it, cops should be able to shoot you. And then we'll just say, well, if you gave him the ID, you wouldn't have got shot. I mean, that's the idiocy of this freaking argument, people. This guy was in a car. Dude jumped in with a pizza box and left. The cops were like, hey, man. And look, if you work drugs, you know pizza boxes are a great way to transport drugs. It looks legit. People buy it. People keep boxes in their car, and then they sell it. They give you a pizza box so you carry it away. So the cops see you. They'll say, oh, he's got a pizza, and they'll ignore you. Unfortunately, they do it so much that street-savvy cops know that this is a scam. So anyway, they watch this guy get in a car, get out with a pizza box. They figure he's doing drugs. They follow him, and they pull him over for, what is the charge? Tinted windows. He shouldn't have put film on his window. Tinted windows is the crime. And then when they try to pull him over, he runs. Obviously, that's another crime. Failure to yield. They chase him. He gets out of the car, and now they let the dog chew the shit out of him. And it doesn't really go into all this before, so all you really see is the guy getting out and releasing the dog. What a great little dog. Good boy. Get him, Herky. Actually, this guy covers some pretty good ground and stays away from the dog for quite a long time. So I believe the dog grabbed him. He's still running. And he probably gets a good hold of him right about here when the guy goes down. Plus, when the guy's getting bit as he's running, he's losing blood and he wants to stop. Look, dogs are great to stop fleeing suspects. I get it. They're a good tool. But they're like any other tool when it's abused. You know, when a citizen uses a gun, it's gun violence. When a cop uses a dog, it's the suspect's fault. It's not dog violence. This isn't dog violence. We don't have a dog violence problem in the police force. We got a problem with people running. When a citizen uses a gun on a criminal, it's gun violence. It's just crazy the way people can be manipulated. So your dog's already caught him once. Your dog can catch him again. At this point, you would call your dog off. You give him command. In the military, we used out. I would say, out, heel. The dog would let go and he would come back to me. And if the guy ran off again, I would tell my dog to get him again. I mean, it's not that hard, people. People want to make this into, oh man, it's the suspect's fault. He should have stopped moving. It's not the cop was just being a hero. It was for tinted windows, people. And then they end up busting the guy for marijuana. He had 30 grams of marijuana. The big bust. Let's have a dog chew on him, possibly bust an artery and kill him. Let's taser him and beat the shit out of him. Let's set the city and the taxpayers up for a huge lawsuit because our cops aren't held accountable and they don't use their tools like they're trained. And then you have other idiots saying, well, they need more training. No, they need to be held accountable for the training they get. I mean, it's not that freaking... Look, as a use of force expert, I train people I trained them to use a baton and impact weapons. I trained them to shoot guns for deadly force. And I trained them for defensive tactics on how to break arms and get people off and throw them. So as a trainer, I would always teach vicarious liability. And I would tell my students flat out, if you do the technique the way I'm teaching you, I will testify and tell you that is why I taught you, which relieves liability of the person. However, if you go out there and do something stupid when what I didn't teach you, I will sell your ass out on a stand and say you did not do it as you were taught, you were out of control, and you failed to follow your training. So, I mean, it's pretty simple to hold cops accountable. They get training. It's just right now, it's like whenever they mess up, it's like, oh, let the taxpayers pay out a bunch of money. We'll call them heroes and we'll say they need more training. Yeah, that works. Throwing more money into government always fixes all the problems that government creates. Perfect. So he tases him right here while he's getting chewed. Is that excessive? Look, all the cops will be here. Here's what you'll hear from all the cops. The guy never laid down. He was still a threat. He was never searched. He could have had a gun. And the dog obviously wasn't detaining him. And since he wasn't complying, the officer was justified in using his taser and using non-lethal force. And it was a good taser, Rick. You just hate cops. Okay, that's what you're going to hear. And that's the standard line that all cops are taught. And, of course, we teach them how to say that. We teach them how to yell, stop resisting. That's all taught because it looks good on camera and it sounds good. What doesn't look good is when you're letting a guy chew on a guy that's stopped and then you tase him and then you tell him to stop moving while a dog's chewing on him. That's just ignorant. Now remember, people, these are the same heroes that if a puppy runs up wagging their tail to a cop, they will pull their gun and say, I was in fear of my life and kill the dog. So when a puppy walks up to a cop, a dog is deadly force and a cop can kill him. But when the government allows a dog to chew on you mercilessly for long periods of time, it's not deadly force. You can't fight back or you'll be charged with resisting or assault on the dog. I mean, how can anybody see any logic in those two positions? Out freaking outrageous. Earning the hate. Rick, you're just making it hard on cops because you're showing this and you hate cops and most of them are good and this is an isolated. Shut up, you freaking idiots. It ain't an isolated incident. It's routine. It's accepted. They can't get sued and the DAs don't charge them. And they stay out there and the agency doesn't discipline. So guess what? This goes on and you stupid, pesky citizens keep paying more taxes to pay out more fees to lawyers when you lose cases because cops aren't held accountable. Yeah, okay. You can't even get a cop to say, hey, don't shoot my dog, he's just a puppy, without him going, pow, 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 as a fear of my life. Yet the cops expect a guy on the ground getting his leg chewed off to follow instructions. This is just bullshit, people. I mean, I just can't believe that this is being allowed every day. I mean, this is just outrageous. Now, we would probably never see this as a white guy because everything's about color. So we're only seeing this because it's about color. and now there's a lawsuit filed because they're going to be able to play the color card, instead of focusing on this is a pandemic of law enforcement abuse of their power and no accountability. That is the issue. This is not a color issue.
He just sold it to me. I quit. Tell him to get off of me, man. My leg is fucking tired. Look.
So he puts his hands out multiple times and he allows the dog to chew on him. I mean, this is people. When we saw pictures of people in Abu Ghraib and the military took pictures of just holding a dog next to somebody to scare him, people were outraged. Oh, those poor prisoners. They were trying to blow up our servicemen and we put a dog on them and scared them. How could we? I mean, the dogs weren't even attacking them. They were just being used to scare them, and people were outraged. Yet this is okay. Why? Because our blue line heroes are always protected. And you can't talk about law enforcement or you're Antifa and you hate law enforcement. You must be the left wing. Absolutely outrageous. So at what point does this guy have the right to turn around and grab this dog by the neck and get him off him? I mean, it's freaking crazy. Look, I'm telling you fucking cops right now, you send a dog on me like this, I'm pulling him off and I'm throwing him in your freaking face. How about that? Then you can shoot him and say you're inferior life and you can shoot your own freaking dog. How about that? I can't shoot him, I'll throw him in your face. This is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely outrageous letting this guy chew on him while he's handcuffing. You know, dogs are trained to be in a guard or watch position. You call your dog off, you tell him to lay down, and as long as the suspect doesn't make an aggressive move, you can go over there and handcuff him while your dog watches and barks. I mean, Rick, why should they have to train him that? It's just easier to let their dogs chew on a person. Then they can say he's resisting. Absolutely outrageous. Torture. Abuse of power. This is not a training issue, people. This is an accountability issue. This cop needs to go to prison, and then the next cop will think, man, I don't want to go to prison. Maybe I shouldn't do this with my dog. Why do they keep doing it? Because no cops are going to prison.
Stop it!
Oh my God. Dog could jump on his face, bite him in the neck. Dogs, I mean, this is just outrageous. So now, after the dog's chewed on him with his hands free, now I'm going to handcuff him and let my dog chew on him. Okay, so anytime a dog, people are going to say, this dog's not trained, he's still trying to get him, etc. Look, anytime a dog gets excited, he hears his handler screaming, he gets a bite, a guy's fought with him. This is all in the dog's mind. This is just like we do in training. This is something that we do. I get to bite people and we do it. So the dog isn't like trying to kill this person or tear his veins out. The dog's just doing what he's trying to do. So it's normal for a dog to get excited and not listen in situations like this. So, you know, it's hard to say that this dog is trained or not trained and whether or not the handler can control him because they don't need to control him. But all dogs get excited when they get a bite like this. The guy is laying there and you got your dog. Can you just shut the fuck up till you get someone else there? I mean, what is your point to keep screaming at the guy? The point is, you don't give a shit what you do because you aren't going to be held accountable. You got a gun and a dog and a taser and a badge and limited immunity and the DAs won't charge you. And if somebody has to pay out money, it ain't going to be you. It's going to be the taxpayer. So why should I give a shit what any of you people think? That is the attitude of cops.
Get away from me! Get your stomach all the way!
Great. Freaking great. Absolutely outrageous. This cop should be charged with multiple felonies. And when he goes to jail, this will stop. Cops do this because they can, and nothing happens to them. Now, get ready, people, because here's going to be the justification. I was trying to control the suspect. I never had control of him. He could have had a weapon. And I was trying to control my dog, and I didn't have a leash because the suspect ran, and it's all the suspect's fault. And he had tinted windows when he shouldn't have. And he ran, and, he caused all this. It's not my fault. That's the narrative. Whatever cops do, it's not their fault. Outrageous. Oh, he does have a leash. He just didn't use it.
I think yours is going to be south of my location on the street.
What's the address here, sir?
So now he's asking this guy, what's the address? Because this happens a lot. I mean, you get in a chase, you jump out of the car. It's hard to look at numbers when you're running. I tell like crazy cop story. I chased this dude all over. I was literally talking a helicopter in because I heard him. I'm to your right. Come to the right. All right, keep going straight. And as the sound got better, I could direct the helicopter because I had nowhere. We had chased this guy for so long. We were in the middle of somewhere. I had no clue where the hell I was at. Is this dude crazy? He's walking up to a dude on the ground in handcuffs that's been tased and a dog's trying to eat him, and he walks out there. This is the guy that supports cops, that thinks cops are his friends and he won't get hurt. There's going to be another cop coming around the corner and he's going to shoot, tase him, or sick his dog on him probably. Put your freaking taser and the gun. Take the cartridge off. You're not shocking him. You've got your freaking dog.
926 Main Street, 4-1 to dispatch. 926 Main. Oh, on your stomach! On your stomach! On your stomach!
Didn't we learn from George Floyd that having somebody handcuffed on their stomach, they can't breathe, they have problems? Did anybody miss that memo? Was there not a memo sent out to agencies that, hey, look, cops are taught this. This isn't something new with George Floyd. We were taught this long ago. People die of asphyxiation if you handcuff them and throw them in the back of the car. We used to handcuff people and tie their feet to their hands and throw them in the back of the car. And then they got to jail and they were dead. Be like, damn, wonder what caused that shit. Must have been the handcuffs. It's handcuff violence. That did it. Yeah, that's it. It's car violence. The car did it. No. It's because we were handcuffing them. We didn't know the medical term for causing the lungs unable to expand because the hands are behind the back, which creates, you can't get the expansion. And you tie his legs up so he can't use his legs to roll and relieve himself so he can breathe. So what do? We're still doing it. Why? Because we can. Because nobody goes to prison. George Floyd. Yeah, George Floyd went to prison, and he probably shouldn't have. George Floyd went to prison because it was a black person that died, and he was a white officer. It was never about holding cops accountable and changing the way cops are allowed to treat people.
On your stomach! On your goddamn stomach!
Does this idiot walking around know that if this dog gets loose, he's just as willing to attack him as he is the guy on the ground? Wow, this guy's walking up. Look how fast this guy's walking up. Freaking canine. I'm not gonna walk around the corner too fast. This dumbass will let the dog loose on me. This guy's just walking. La 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 la. La la la. Jesus Christ. Look at the exigency of this guy. This guy screaming, tases him, dog barking. This guy's got his arm on the wall relaxing, and this cop's walking up. Who's out of control here, people? Rick, it's law enforcement, and they're all heroes, and this is an isolated incident. You just hate cops. You freaking idiots. All right, we'll end that there. This is going earning the hate. Oh, by the way, they're suing. Did I say that? Attorney William Song filed a lawsuit, district court. Shocking. How much marijuana? Let's see this big, huge bus. The guy went 65 miles an hour when he was running. Oh my God, Rick, that's dangerous. Freaking cops chase people 120 miles an hour. That's okay. This guy goes 65 because he has tinted windows. And this is what he had. 32 grams of marijuana. Wow! Investigators reported, that means it probably wasn't true, that marijuana weighing approximately 32 grams was found. Ooh. and $82 in bills. Wow, this guy's making a fortune selling 32 grams of marijuana. He is a big threat, and he's got tinted windows. Freaking pesky citizens. We need more law enforcement to get guys like this off the road. Are you freaking people crazy? All right, we'll end that there.